adapter, but with this adapter it kind of focuses on the ability to AirPlay or stream content from your phone onto the adapter, so you can actually play things like YouTube onto your CarPlay display, whilst keeping things simple to just connect to the dongle wirelessly for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. It's meant to offer quick switching between CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as AirPlay modes via a quick disconnect button physically on the actual adapter itself. It also packs a faster chipset, so hopefully boot times and general interactions should be a little bit nippier as well than previous models of this type. So with that quick overview, let's see what's inside the box. Okay, so here's what you get inside the box. You get a quick fire user manual to let you know how to fire it up as well as update it. You have the AutoTOCAST MX itself, and you get two power cables to power the adapter. You get one USB-C to USB-A, and you also have a USB-C to C for more modern CarPlay and Android Auto vehicles. So looking over the MX adapter itself, it has a kind of like mirrored but with a sort of diamond sort of texture on it with the logo on top. You've got the USB-C input port here for powering the adapter, air ventilation ports on both sides of the adapter there, keep things cool. Nothing on the bottom other than the serial and the model number. And then on the bottom here, it's something that we've seen previously in other wireless adapters, where you've got a short little button here that's going to basically allow you to disconnect your phone immediately and allow another phone to pair with the adapter. And you've got a USB-A pass-through port, which is most likely going to be just for charging and updating the adapter with downloaded files if you don't want to update it over the air. And finally here, you've got a status light to let you know that everything's fully operational and powered. This adapter does look very familiar with the other ones that I've reviewed. You've got the AutoCast U2X, which is a very early Android and CarPlay adapter, allows you to run Android on a CarPlay only vehicle, for example. And then they released their U2X Pro, which is pretty much the same, just a little bit faster, but it does have that disconnect button there, which the old one didn't have. And then you've got the Play to Video adapter, no disconnect buttons here, and this basically allowed you to use its closed system to run things like Netflix and YouTube on your CarPlay display, but it might have been a little bit longer to boot, for example, because it did use an Android OS layer on top, which probably did slow things down. So if you just wanted to use it for wireless Android Auto or wireless CarPlay, it was quite a slower process than particularly their U2 Air, for example, or U2 Air Pro, which just does the wireless functionality. So it feels like they've dropped the YouTube Netflix functionality in favor of AirPlaying only from your phone, which is a little bit more potentially convenient for most people than having to do hotspots and tethering and things like that. So we'll get this fired up and see how well all that works out in practice. Right, so we're in the Golf and we've got our AutoTOCAST port now with the red status light on. And we're into Android Auto. So that's bypassed. I did originally connect the Android Auto to the Bluetooth profile initially. So that's the whole entire boot sequence from power on. Now that we're in Android Auto, everything is all nicely presented. There's no squashing of icons. The resolution is decent. The display feed seems fairly responsive to navigate around. So that's impressive. Go back to the unit and then go back in here as well. The navigation is nice and responsive and everything works here. And overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Android looks great, I think. So that's Android Auto. Happy with that and how that performs. You can now try the double press to change to AirPlay mode. So I pressed it twice. Sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't. If it doesn't, you'll know the display will show the home screen again. You have to quickly press AirPlay mode to enable it. AirPlay mode means actually what it means. So we'll use the CarPlay interface and then we can restart here to go into AirPlay mode. The dongle will now reboot and go into its AirPlay mode. So now we're in screen mirroring or AirPlay mode for iOS. Here it's telling you to connect to the Wi-Fi profile and the details of how to connect. Then you find your screen mirroring and then you connect the screen mirroring on your iPhone and then it will display on the CarPlay display. And here you can go back to CarPlay again, or the last connection that you had on the adapter. And here is the firmware version number at the moment. And now we basically get our iPhone and connect to the Wi-Fi profile. Now we're connected. Go down to your screen sharing
option and then tap on the adapter, and that's us now connected, where we can now play around. It's a little bit blurry, but it is scaled down obviously. But from here you can now launch up things like YouTube, and rotating the screen is going to allow you to have it almost full screen on the display itself. So the delay is quite significant over AirPlay. You can see we do have some black borders on the left and right. You can zoom in to a little bit further screen, but everything does get slightly cut off, but not too much. You can see there is some lag available. It's over a 500 millisecond eventually. Again, you are locked down to copyright software that you run on your iOS device. This won't work with Netflix or Disney Plus or Amazon Prime. It'll just be purely for YouTube, TikTok, and your own videos, which we can show you here. My car phone mount is that when that happens. So I believe from your phone is a little bit better in lag, but it's a lot more laggy on YouTube. So it really does depend on the kind of quality of the video stream. So iOS videos is a little bit better, but it's a little bit jerky as well. So it really does depend on the app that you're using with AirPlay mode. Okay, let's check out CarPlay. So we're going to disconnect from mirroring, then back into the adapter. Going to double press to reboot the adapter. Right, sometimes the adapter won't actually boot up the main menu screen, so you do have to connect to the adapter manually via Bluetooth for the first time at least. And then once you've paired it and it gets connected, you can use it for CarPlay. And you're into CarPlay. So now that we're into CarPlay, we'll just do a boot test. We'll disconnect the dongle, reconnect the dongle again, and we're into CarPlay. So that's nice and quick for an adapter that can also do multiple functions. That's actually quite nice to see. CarPlay is nice and rapid, plays well. It also sounds good as well.
Well, here we are, back on the hot, muggy street of New York.
Sounds nice and clear. And it seems to be fairly responsive with the usual Wi-Fi lag that you can come to expect with wireless CarPlay. Interactions and navigation is fairly decent and rapid. You can come back to the car system if you'd like to. Music plays over the top of it. Let's do a audio test. Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and this is an audio test using the AutoCast MX, and this is an audio test. Do a quick call test. Hello?
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 Hello? Okay, so the lag on that is very good as well. On calling, very short delay. So that's going to have no problem with calling between different people. Audio is also resuming back from call, which is nice to see as well. And generally,